izkümkü, idüze orodoyu iveriko. Uronora.
Inomotu otunum isarabea. Au kunana awizi Ueda kunam.
Fantastic. Hey, how are you? Greetings from Australia.
Greetings from Brazil.
Ah, beautiful. How do you say Brazil is beautiful?
Brasil é bonito.
Brasil è bonito.
Yes, perfect.
Ah, perché sono italiano. So, there you go.
I can understand a little of Italian.
Excellent, excellent. Well, first of all, I have to again just be very effusive right now, so get ready. Your art is something else. It's just so, and I remember seeing it. I was having a bit of a kind of hectic day, and this, my fiance, she knows all about it. Like these patterns is what I make, and that's my brain at all
Oh.
times. It's very all over the place. I'm an overthinker, and your art is just so because of the kind of the color choices and the geometric shapes. It just brings a lot of kind of serenity. It's very calming, and that's why I had to buy it. Like it's very, very
Oh
beautiful.
my gosh,
So,
I'm really happy to know this because
yeah.
it's a passion to me. So it's really encouraging me to know
Oh,
such comments.
oh, wonderful. Well, please keep it up, and you're definitely headed for wonderful things going forward. So please do.
Thank you so much.
No worries, no worries. Okay, so a little bit of background. So Fumito Ueda podcast started in 2018, and you are the 11th episode. For various reasons, I've shifted things around with the network and stuff. Finally, now we have a nice stable structure. I did the new thumbnails. Did you like the new thumbnails that I put out on Instagram?
Yes, I really like it.
Okay, fantastic, awesome. And yeah, I suppose there's no better place to start than with your kinship and your connection with Fumito Ueda and how you first came across any of his works, whether it was Eco or Shadow or Last Guardian. What did you come across first?
Well, first was Shadow of the Colossus. I think I was 14 at the time, and it was my brother who actually bought the game, and we were so confused because we didn't understand English at the time. So when the game started, we didn't know what to do because we were supposed to know the story and such, and it took a little to figure out that we had to use this word to find the places. But as soon as we found the first Colossus, I think it's
Valus, yeah.
Valus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was really interesting because I watched him play all the game, and then I tried it in the hard mode, and it was really fun.
Okay.
And it was really like left a mark on me because it was really different from all the other games. Because the impotence of the world and the fact that you only have to defeat bosses, like there aren't any enemies or anything at all, just the bosses. I really liked it. And then a friend of my brother, I think, he said recommend me to play Ico, and he borrowed me the Ico, and he said something like, "Oh, you're gonna cry because the story is so nice and such." I can't remember when was it, but I think I couldn't understand English at the time, so it really, I love the story and the music. I really cried.
Yeah.
Because it's really touching.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just really like the games because they are kind of emotional, and I can feel connected with them.
That's lovely. And So with Fumito, I like to say that he really sort of ushered in a new idea of what games could be with Eco, definitely. Um, I'll just give a small little, just to kind of reciprocate. I first came across Eco on a 2001 demo disc. I just remember seeing this little boy leading. It's such a beautiful, and he actually said that that's what inspired him is was just seeing the little boy and the tall girl, which is
Yeah.
such a kind of endearing silhouette. And he's like, "Come on, like I'll save you," you know. And and I remember finding that very striking. But you know, yet at the time I was a little bit edgier, and I was like, "This interesting." But then I just went to play Final Fantasy X, and but what I love is that you, and it speaks to how much of a more, I would say, emotionally intelligent person you were at the time of finding it, that you were drawn to it immediately and you fell into it immediately. They always say like girls, like they mature earlier, and I eventually, like I don't think I cherish a creative entity more than that man, because just like your art, and that's why I think you were drawn to, I think, like artists who resonate with each other, they're drawn to each other's works. So I think the reason why there's a kinship for you is there's that sense of certain, like, peace to a degree, even though there's some melancholy, there's some sadness, you know. But
Yes.
overall, he creates a mood that is very inviting and yet still kind of sparks like imagination as well. And that is something that is you know, games are like beep, 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 flashy flashy, you know, like lasers and all that, and he was just about creating this very serene mood which makes you very receptive to like kind of timeless storytelling. So yeah,
Yes.
the in terms of the pairing between your art uh, and his subject matter, it was perfect. And also I've seen all your other stuff with like Dark Souls, and I do a
Oh,
yeah, I
I
do
love Dark Souls.
yeah, I do a Miyazaki show as well. So as soon as there's some Elden Ring news, you have to come on that show as well.
Oh, please, I would love to. We're waiting for Elden Ring news for such a long time.
We haven't heard, I think, over a year now. So they're clearly,
Yeah.
they want to make it special. I think COVID has had an impact for sure. How is COVID
Yeah.
doing in Brazil, by the way?
Yeah, I'm still stuck inside my house for probably 4 months now.
Okay.
But okay, I'm kind of using this time to to do my works and try to focus on other stuff. So it's kind of okay, but I wish I could go out more.
Yeah, yeah. You know, my fiance and I, like, we're big restaurant people. We're big, like, and obviously, like, who doesn't enjoy the sun and like going out and having I suppose that's one thing with again, to tie it back to Fumito. He loves he definitely loves nature. I think all three of his titles have this sense of respect and deference to nature, and the tragedy of us messing with nature and imposing our own will on it. And I always interpreted that whenever you would take a colossus down, you could see in its eyes, like the eyes are saying, like, why are you doing this, you know? And
Yeah.
it kind of symbolically makes you question why we do certain things to like the planet, and to, without getting too hippy dippy, like. And so yeah, I get into a bit of analysis with this, but I when I see what COVID has done with like the oceans, you can see like the Venice, like the canals are clear and you can see the
Yeah, everything going back to
yeah.
the way it used to be.
Hmm. So I think maybe Fumito's smiling a bit at that. It's like it's nice to be able to open the window and be like, oh, and see like the beautiful sunlight and all. And also another thing Ueda loves is abandoned ruins, like places where, yeah, you know what I mean. And that's COVID too. It's like
Yes,
everything's abandoned, you
yeah,
know.
you can see that kind of trend going on his all of his games. I really appreciate that it's kind of keeps them in the same universe. A lot
Mm,
of people has many theories that it's the same universe and
yeah, that's
different
right.
timelines or something. I really like the theories.
The theories are fantastic, and I'm hoping to get a few of the like there's a Jacob Geller. He did a whole video about his choice in architecture. So you're an artist. I'll recommend to you. Do you know Piranesi? The
Can you
Yeah,
see?
yeah, Giambattista Piranesi. I'll send you some of his work. Ah, and then I've got it in my tags on the Instagram. It's I'll send them to you. I think you'll really love them. It's
Okay.
the
Oh,
Renaissance, specifically influenced by his influence on his architecture. But
oh.
but another thing I want to ask. So, of the three games, which would you say is your favorite?
Mm, I think Shadow of Colossus is my favorite because of the nostalgic. It was the first one I played and the story, but right after it's Ico because
Oh, beautiful.
I'm so connected to the characters.
Yeah.
You're incredible,
Okay.
and I really enjoy Last Guardian as well. But I
Hmm.
think the two first ones are kind of more emotional to me.
Yeah.
Maybe because the Last Guardian took so long to be finished.
Yeah, I know. I know. I get that. My favorite, especially particularly because it took so long to finish, my favorite is The Last Guardian, and so I have this here. Yeah, it's because
Oh,
yeah, that's right. Okay.
cute.
Yeah, and that was like a special thing here in Australia. You could pick up. The reason why, and I won't go too long because this is I want to ask you more about your art and more about how you
Okay.
got into art. Is the reason why is because okay, I like to be very symbolic and analytical and go into theories, as you know. So for me, the creature Trico or Toriko, he represents the difficulty that Fumito encountered when making. Fumito is the boy, and he's yelling at this thing, trying to get it to move. And keep in mind that Last Guardian actually started on PS3. So
Yeah.
he had to migrate it to PS4, and basically the game wasn't doing what he wanted it to do. Just like many people
Yeah.
are like, they get frustrated, it's like, well, it's not doing what I want it to do. And then Fumito is like, no, but over time, it does listen to you, and you develop that connection, just like with an animal or a friend or whatever.
Hmm.
And I have this particular kinship with in fantasy, like there's a never ending story. You have the luck dragon and even like Pete's dragon or whatever. There's that kind of creature that you can like go on an adventure with, that can like take you to different worlds and different lands. It sort of speaks to that the kid, the little, and that's why I think there's the boy and his beast, or even in the latest tease, the girl and the giant, is that sense that there's this figure which kind of in that way, because when you're a kid you're smaller than your parents, and often you
Hmm.
see parents as these dominating, kind of sometimes scary because they tell you what to do. But then like that's why the kid falls in love with the family dog, because the dog is big, but the dog, you can have fun, you can play. And so I have all kinds of theories, but I could go on forever. Anyway.
I
um
really like your idea of
hmm,
Trico being the like I mean,
the
the
game.
boy being
Yeah.
Fumito and
Hmm.
Trico being the game itself
Yeah.
because it makes sense, and I really like how we get frustrated when you
Hmm.
can do what he's supposed to do in your minds. I really
That's
like
right.
that concept in the game.
Do you remember when in Last Guardian, I think he can't fit through something, so he's just his head. He just fits through, and he sort of sits there. And for me, it's so endearing. But I understand why Shadow is your favorite. Did you play the remake first or the original?
I played the original first, and then I
Amazing.
played the remake. And
Okay,
well, I think they did a really good job in the remake.
that's really
That's
good.
I felt really nostalgic when I played it
Yeah, how was
again.
the remake for you? So you obviously did you finish it, the remake?
Yes, I finished. I
Okay.
finished, but I didn't try the time attack. I suck at that.
No, no, no. That's okay.
But I really like. I think it's got the same feeling and atmosphere from the first one. I really like the made the it was possible to make some pictures. It really helps with drawing and stuff.
Yeah.
I think only the only thing that kind of changed was that I didn't like much. I think Wonder's face looks a bit different, but not a
Yeah.
really big problem. And some noises from the Colossus are different.
Hmm.
But again, not a bigger problem, just
See, that's
just me
great.
being
Yeah, see, I like that you have you're appreciative of what Blue Point were wanting to do, and I saw a lot of uproar and stuff, but you seem to be like agreeable and you understand what they were doing, and just because something's different doesn't take away from the original. So I wish more people were
Yes.
like you with that attitude. That's really good.
Yes, I can see a lot of people being really mad at
Yeah.
remakes,
Oh,
but
I think
I
it
think
deserved it. It really did. I have okay, a few questions for you. Speaking because you just brought up your art because you were saying that it's easier for you with the remake to kind of look at it aesthetically and then apply that into art. I want to ask, so when did you start making art, and what is that connection for you to you as a person and then creating, and especially like with your visual art? When did that start?
well, I don't even know when I started doing art because I have two styles. I have
Hmm.
a style that's more organic,
Hmm.
and that one I have no idea when I started. It's really, really young. But I think the low poly one, which is the geometric shapes, I started 6 years ago
Hmm.
with a fox. And then I started trying to make some games and stuff I love because I really like trying to make the stuff I love to show the message to people. And I do a lot of Dark Souls and Bloodborne stuff and most game based stuff
Great.
because I really want to show my love for those stuffs,
Oh,
those
that's
things.
wonderful. And you can also feel that. And again, that's such a positive way to channel your passion into. Some people do essays, some people do playthroughs, and I love that for you. It manifests naturally as like art, and it's very beautiful. I love the Ludwig one, the Ludwig the Accursed.
Yes,
It's so
yes.
great. So well done.
It was really hard because there are a lot of details. So, and I tried to translate them in my style and in
Mm,
a way that it's kind of minimalist.
mm,
But it's really fun after all. I love doing it, and
that's
I'm
great.
really thankful the people enjoy it as well, and they request some other stuff.
That's
It's the
cool.
people are really nice to me.
Oh, that's wonderful. And I'm more than happy to yes, signal boost it and get this out to we have on the main producer feed, we have about 41,000 subscribers. So this will go out to there. And then as you saw, I'm just getting the dedicated YouTube channel started again. So that'll go out to them as well. So more questions. You have the two different styles. Do you like them both equally? Which one do you do more, the geometric or the more organic?
I try to do both of them, but recently I'm doing more the geometric style because I feel really calm and doing, and it feels like I can do anything I want. How to explain it? Like there are no rules. I set
Yeah.
the rules to them. In the other one, I have to check more the anatomy, perspective, and so it's kind of harder for me.
Yeah.
It's funny because it used to be the opposite, but now I really do the geometric one to be calm, chilling. It's
Good.
but I don't know if I like one or more than other. I just like them both. It just maybe it's
Different
a
moods.
phase.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that. I want to say though, with because you have it quite like it's quite prominent your the geometric style, and I like, and I'll start using that word geometric because that fits. Do you work on an iPad, or how do you? What's your materials?
Um, and most of the time I use my computer,
Hmm.
it's a laptop, and
Hmm.
I try to use Photoshop first to sketch, and then I use Illustrator to make the vectors. But
Mm,
sometimes I take my iPad and do the same process there.
cool.
It's it's
Procreate.
can yeah, Procreate, and then I think there's I forget the name. I think it's Vectornator. That's the
Oh,
one to make the vectors.
okay, cool. I need to do a bit of that for, I do the Avatar podcast as well. and I need to. I'm going to ask you about that as like an artist as well. I also do some of my own patterns. If you go to albertkesser.com, like you can
Yes,
see.
I
Yeah,
think I saw some of your art in
the
your
stuff.
website.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's really nice.
Oh,
I like the patterns.
thank you. I started doing them in 2005, and I did a lot of them after the army. And I'm pretty sure because in 2008, when I saw the first trailer for The Last Guardian, I saw that boy covered in tattoos. I think it had an influence on me a little bit. Yeah.
Now that you say it, yes,
Yeah,
true.
that's right. When I was, if you scroll through my Instagram, I was getting this one done because it was so painful. I had to keep that one up, and I had it
Oh.
like that. And so then I took a photo. I was like, I kind of look like the boy from Last Guardian. So, but that's cool. All right, more questions. So have you always stayed in? Have you just stayed in Brazil, or did you move there recently, or there's a Brazilian native?
Yes, I'm Brazilian native, but I already traveled to Japan,
Oh,
London,
cool.
and United States. I wish I could travel more, but it seems
No
like
one can
with the
travel now.
stuff, yeah, and I think it's going to be a long time before I can travel again.
Yeah.
But
Oh, my fiance and I, we wanted to go to Japan this year. I wanted to show her the onsens, and then around about the same time, I'm in Ghost of Tsushima, going. Have you played Ghost of Tsushima yet?
not
The
yet, but
game?
I'm really curious
I think you'd
because
like
I
it.
played Sekiro, and well, Sekiro is hard, but I really like the whole Japan stuff going
Yeah.
on.
Well,
I'm
now
really
because you've
big
mentioned
fan.
Sekiro, we have to jump on to the Miyazaki. We have to talk about that too. Yeah, I was tempted to start asking you Miyazaki questions, but this is the Fumito Ueda, so we'll save that for another time.
Okay.
One more question is so Gen Design, an allusion to Gen Design
Oh,
or is that completely accident?
it's a coincidence,
Oh,
but
cool.
that's a nice coincidence because it's based on my name. That's Jennifer, so I use Jen, and after I did it, people pointed out for me that, oh, Jen design. So yeah, you like the icon Shadow Closer? Yes, but it was completely
Coincidence.
an accident. Yes.
And you have been Gen Designs for longer than Gen Design, right?
Yeah, but I'm not sure if the Instagram account was longer than
Okay.
Gen Design.
Because I would lawyer up. I would start making some inquiries, send some emails. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Imagine that. It's like, Fumito Ueda, I love your art, but I have to sue you because you stole my name. Yeah. No, that's okay.
Oh,
Okay. Well, if you want, it depends. Well, multiple choice. So I can ask you a few more questions about particular moments in the games, or just so that because I'm going to be titling this one Hydrus, and that's what we started long ago. This has had a very interesting path. Like I started with the full intention to just go really in depth with each Colossus, but
mm-hmm.
I was just talking with my fiance before. Her and I, we talk. She is a leadership mentor, and we talk about like symbolism and different kinds of culture. And I said, we're talking about a very like a water themed creature tonight. And I was like, what kind of ideas do you have? And she's like, well, the unknown. The unknown is symbolic with water, definitely, and also water is very synonymous with the feminine as well. The masculine is in many cultures synonymous with the sun. And hydrus, very simple. It's just the Latin word for water. So, or like, I think I did some looking into, and it's like in different languages, just sort of very basic kind of water dragon. But you mentioned Japan earlier, so it has some features to it of the catfish, and the catfish and the koi feature very, very heavily in Japanese mythology. Have you what kind of have you ever looked into Japanese mythology very much?
Um, and yeah, I do, but I don't know much. I like
Okay.
the kitsune's mythology because
Oh, the
I
fox,
love
and I can see
soft
it
food.
back up there in the behind you.
Yes. Yes, there are a lot of foxes here everywhere, and I
Yeah.
really like the dragons. And well, I admit I have to look more in the mythology in Japan, but I really like all the story of Japan and the monsters and
Yeah.
the yokais. Yokais
Mm,
are really nice.
that's right.
Tengu is one of my favorite.
Tengu. I did an episode of the Miyazaki podcast about Tengu. I did so much recording for that one. I tried a new recording technique where I would keep recording even if I messed up, and then I did it all in editing. It took me like 3 hours to edit it because it's
Oh,
like, Albert, you need to take breaks. But I love that we have to talk about. So you have to come on Miyazaki. We have to talk about Sekiro.
oh,
Uh,
I have so much to talk about
so
Miyazaki.
much, so much. But so for me, so Hydrus for me is when we were doing the analyses with Nick. The first couple episodes, I don't know if you listened to them, but we were joined by the author of two books. One was the Shadow of the Colossus book with boss fights. Boss fight books is where he actually worked with or spoke with Ueda himself to create this book for
Mm.
Shadow of the Colossus, and then he also wrote. I don't know if I can get it from here. I think it's probably somewhere around here. The Last Guardian book, like the making of the Last Guardian. So he wrote that, and he would talk about the experience of meeting Hydrus and go through the whole experience and like the symbolism. And I always see any story as uh, always very metaphorical. And for me, it's the seventh. It's the seventh Colossus. And when you think of the word seven, you think of the seven seas, like
Yeah.
yeah, the ocean. And then also the word seven also looks itself like a serpent coming up. So
Yeah.
exactly. So that's I kind of just do that. But I want to throw it to you. So when you were playing for the very first time, so this would have been in 2006
Um,
you?
I think that probably right after the game came out.
Okay.
I'm not
So,
sure.
so that would have been 2005 then.
Yeah,
So you
I think
oh,
yeah.
that's great. You're like the real deal. I like that. So when back when we had very little internet and you were just playing this game and you had no idea what was happening next, what was your experience of discovering Hydrus? What did you think was the mood? Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was hard because
Yeah, that's
because
okay.
underwater it's
Yeah.
really hard for me in games in general. So I think I took it when I tried playing and fighting him. Fighting it,
Yeah.
it was really hard for me. Probably the hardest fights for me.
Mm,
And but I really like it seeing. I mean, it was all dark inside the
yeah.
water. It was really hard to see how the Colossus was.
Mm,
So I think just recently I was able to see it
mm,
better. But well, what else? I think I didn't. I thought I had a problem going to find the place where he is located, but no. I think it was if Avian. Avian is the hardest to get
yeah.
there.
Mm.
But
And I also want to ask you again because we're going to also flow around, and the reason why I'm doing the Hydrus thing is just because Jen, I already started. If I don't finish it, I'm up to
it's okay.
Hydrus, and I just have to. I gotta finish it. So thank you. That was really cool to talk about that. It's a very difficult fight as far as I've seen, definitely. But when I was looking at some of the trivia of because if you go to the Team Ico wiki, you can actually read a little bit about Hydrus, and I'll just show you now. So it's actually the only of the Colossus that you can fight that if you disable it, it actually doesn't fight back. So I'll read you the trivia entry here. So when I get to the okay. Uh,
I think Phalanx doesn't fight back as well.
yeah, after being defeated, Hydrus's body is seen sinking to the. Oh, let me just. I'm such an old man, just using phones.
And I saw that and it is the largest one after Phalanx or
Yes, the largest
something.
one after Phalanx. That's right. And yeah, of all the 16 colossi, Hydrus is the only one that Wanda is capable of rendering completely harmless. Once its 3 electrical spines have been nullified, Hydrus has no other means of attack and will no longer be able to inflict any damage at all. It will continue to make passes at Wanda, even though, as though it is still capable of electrocuting him. But since it cannot do this, it merely passes beneath Wanda without him taking any damage. Now, I have to ask okay. Miyazaki and Fumito Ueda, if I'm not mistaken, they recently spoke in Brazil, right?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I
They-
went to see Miyazaki, but unfortunately, I couldn't see Fumito.
That's
I was
okay.
so sad.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
I wish I could see Fumito, but
You will
well,
have another
I was
chance.
lucky. Yeah, maybe. But I was lucky to see and talk to Miyazaki. He's such a nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we took photos, and I was gonna ask about Elden Ring, but I was so excited meeting him that I didn't know what to say. And I gave him some of my pictures, and he
Oh,
really,
what did he say?
yeah, he liked it. He was so
Oh,
excited. I didn't understand everything because he was talking in Japanese and
yeah.
someone else was trying to translate. But
Mm-hmm.
he seemed very happy about it.
Yeah, that's
It was such
wonderful.
a yeah. I was so excited to meet him. It was
Okay.
like a dream come true because he's like inspiration to me.
Yeah.
As Fumito Ueda, I think Fumito Ueda is an inspiration for Miyazaki as well. I
That's
heard
right.
this somewhere.
Exactly. No, he said that when he was developing Demon Souls, he was actually inspired by Eco and that's that spirit of collaboration. So, um, and the reason why I brought it up is because when I was reading this creature, which is so powerful and so menacing, and especially when with the sky, with the like Pelagia and like the other like the flying colossi, you can see it. It's just the sky, but with Hydrus, not only is it a colossus, but it is in the colossal depths. Like it has that advantage of being, you know, in almost invisible. So something that in mythology and in psychology is they talk about the unknown and what can and how you have to have a respect for the unknown and a respect for what is beneath and the fact that you are able to and that's the tragedy of Wanda is that he doesn't understand that even though he tells himself he's slaying all these creatures for a good reason, he's basically making a deal with the devil and slowly
Yeah,
releasing this very negative force, which is also like Dorman is karma. Like he's the karma that you know comes to us when we mess with nature and when we bring our own sort of darkness into nature. And the reason why he was sealed away is like that was a state of balance, and that's why it's called the Forbidden Lands. Is you want to treat it as forbidden, but with when you debarb him or her or whatever, it doesn't feel like not pathetic, but it feels very sad because it's like this thing is you're really perverting nature by
yes,
not allowing this thing to be it's almost as if you like a beached whale. It would be so sad to see. It's like you should leave it alone. And
yeah,
the reason why I thought of Miyazaki is because Miyazaki, he says when he's designing, same with Fumito, he's like, I want you to design the creature with almost a little bit of sadness, like a little bit of pity. So even a boss like a scary boss from Bloodborne, like the Vicar Amelia,
yeah.
she's just covering her face, because she's and there's always a melancholy to both Fumito and Miyazaki's characters. Did you find that with both of those?
Yes, especially when you fight Sif from Dark Souls 1. It's
Yeah.
a really sad fight. I think even Ludwig,
Mm.
it's kind of sad because you
Oh,
see him as a monster in the first phase, and then he turns into, I think he turns into, yeah, he
yeah.
gets his conscience back,
Mm.
and it's kind of sad seeing how he used to be a hunter like you, and
Mm.
then he became dead. It's got a really sad feeling.
It does, yeah. I think also
Yeah.
we're drawn, and this is a Miyazaki story. One of his designers brought him, I think, like a big scary, he's like big scary beast design, and he said, "That looks cool, but what is like?" And this isn't like a pretentious like art thing. He just said, "What is why?" He just asked, "What is the story that?" He says, he always wants his designs, his creatures. Do you know Dark Souls 3?
Yes.
Yeah. Have you seen? So he's a fellow Australian like me. Do you see Vati videos? Vati, yeah.
Yes.
So you know the one where it's the Sullivan's beast, you know, in
Oh
the
yeah. Oh
Hydrus,
no, that one.
when he's because you've defeated
He's
him.
like praying.
Yeah. Because that's the human soul within that is praying to be protected in the afterlife because there's regret and there's you know what I mean. No one designs bosses, even that the great ape from Sekiro. It's sad. It's like you see this thing
Yes.
probably when it didn't have that infection, it was like mighty and beautiful, but decay. Now, okay, I want to talk to you about the beauty of decay, which is
Oh,
both
that's
Miyazaki and Fumito. There's ruins.
yeah.
It's that sense of why do you think there is like beauty in something, yeah, like falling apart or decaying?
I think it's make us try to think what is the story behind that thing before it got ruined,
Mm,
and we kind of get attached to it because we feel, oh my God, it used to be so beautiful, and then it's like this. What happened to it? And the
yeah.
whole mystery about it, it makes us curious to try to find out the story, and
Mm,
we can see it in both games. Yeah.
that's right. I think, and also I want to ask, so of all the 16 colossi, who's your favorite? Doesn't have to be Hydrus.
Um, No, it's Celestia because
Oh,
that's exactly the point because you can see the expression of
mm,
scary when you're pointing the fire on it, and it's like a cute cat. I can
yeah,
explain. It seems like a cute cat, and it's
yeah.
trying to
Keep you away.
yeah, Figure, and I really like this Colossus because you can see the emotion better than others.
Mm.
And I think after that one, I was like, maybe I'm not doing the right thing.
Yeah, I think Ueda's games often feature on lists of games where you say, "Oh, I don't wanna do it," like because you feel bad, and especially when the Colossus is trying to shake you off. I have
Yeah.
to put the game down. It's like especially Phaedra is my favorite. Phaedra.
Yeah, it's my second favorite because its design is really nice.
Like the horse, yeah. Okay, so do you have number one is Celosia, number two Phaedra. Do you have a number three third favorite or just those two?
It's kind of hard to choose
Yeah, I
one
know.
because I maybe the Kuromori, I think
Mm.
it's the name,
Oh
the
yeah.
lizard
Mm-hmm.
because I really like the eyes, and it was kind of scary to me on the first time when I
Yeah.
played
Mm.
because he goes after you so fast. Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. That's so crazy. Well, I so when I think about so this has a few layers to it. So for example, I love ocean life and I love like water creatures and especially because like my stuff is meant to kind of give you the idea of the coral reef, you know, and
Yes,
very
I can
aquatic.
see it.
Exactly, sort of water. Like it has this like of all the natural forces. Like there's volcanoes, there's the sky, like thunderstorms, but all of those like we can just put on a raincoat, go and study them. But when it comes to the depths of the ocean, when it comes to the stuff that's really deep down, and that's why the spines of Hydrus are an allusion to that, to the deep dark things that have I've always found that so fascinating that in the darkest place of like the ocean there's these things that have lights. I was
Yeah,
like you
it's
because
crazy.
yeah, exactly. And I've always like been fascinated by obviously with this, with Fumito Ueda, like there's a huge, very, very like sort of dominant aspect of like a fairy tale. So not all of it has to make too much sense. But I wanted to ask, so like that's unexplainable in terms of nature, the ocean. But something that I talked about with my previous episodes is, how you say what makes you sad is wondering what they used to be, or wondering where they came from. Fumito, just like Miyazaki, almost he gives nothing away. He doesn't tell any story.
Yeah.
It's all very mysterious. So I want to give you an opportunity, if you want, to tell me if you have any theories about the world of Shadow of the Colossus and the civilization, and what do you think the Colossus? Do you think they were part of the culture, or do you think Emon like it created them? Do you have any ideas about that? Any theories?
I kind of, yes, I think they are created to by the people to how do you say, seal the army. So I don't think they are bad. I think they were like guardians to protect the parts of the army, and maybe they are worshipped, but I'm not sure what happened in between that made it became forbidden lands.
Yes.
But I think maybe they try to get away from that place so no one could try to kill them or something.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
they release the seal.
I would love something like that, where it was about, maybe Emon recognizing that they needed a place to be protected. Like that would be a very fascinating thing, because when you think of these large kind of creatures, you think, oh, they're dangerous. But I wonder if there was a version of the story. That's the thing. Just like Miyazaki, it's like I honestly think that that's why these games have such a following, and such like passionate and talented artists like yourself that are so fascinated, because they don't do all the work for you. They invite you to want to enter that world. And I think Elden Ring, oh, okay, no spoilers, but I did hear that Elden Ring has a little bit of it's beautiful, really, because it has a little bit of inspiration from Shadow of the Colossus, where he said that Demon Souls was inspired by Ico, and the Elden Ring is gonna be open world, just like
I
Shadow of the
heard.
Colossus. Yeah, and that you'll be able to, and there'll be a horse. That's pretty much confirmed. And yeah, that'll be very interesting to see. I like that. Even though they spoke as equals, and I love that it was in Brazil. I just realized that on the episode with you. I was like, what happened in Brazil recently with, oh my God, yes, they were at the Brazil game show. It's too bad that they didn't record it, though. They should have,
Yeah.
two massive people on stage, Okay, so I have a question. So Fumito's next game, with the girl and the sleeping giant, I want to get your ideas of what you think they're doing, because they've since released some teasers that don't look like that. They look a bit more almost like technological. What are your hopes for Ueda's next game? What would you like for it to be?
Yeah, I was really confused at those pictures they showed. I was like, that gives no hints. But actually, I heard your podcast about the game, so it gave me better ideas of it. I really like the theory about you having to control the light or something. I think you have to get the giant and to pass the line. I think it can go on the light or something.
Yeah, that was my idea. Yeah.
I really like it.
Well, thank you.
But I think maybe the giant is not a bad giant. Maybe it's a friend or something, and it's probably a prisoner like the girl for some reason, and maybe they are. But that way, I'm not sure if it's going to be so much like Let's Guardian that way. After seeing your podcast, that made more sense. Like if the giant was an enemy and you had to run from it, it would be interesting as well. And I really like it. You mentioned how the picture. I couldn't see very well what was going on in the picture, but after you talk with your, I think your friend, you're trying to the you made me clear. It was better to figure out what is the picture there.
Yeah.
And I think you mentioned as well the giant could be a pig
Yeah,
or
it kind of had that
something.
because we saw the drawing from the because we're really diving in because again, I think even more Miyazaki gives actually more than Ueda. Ueda's like a monk. Like he's so quiet. I really find that you know, my fiance and I we talk about it. It's like don't speak unless it improves on silence. I've always really liked that philosophy. And believe it or not, I recently started moving away from because I've actually found more of my calling as a producer because I I tend to talk a lot, and I always don't mean to be disrespectful. And please interrupt me. I actually
No, 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 that's fine. I'm kind of, since I don't know much English, I'm
you're
kind of
doing
afraid.
amazing. You're really
Thank
really
you.
great. I
I'm
like
kind
how
of
you
afraid
say
of
instead
the
of
mistakes.
no, no. Instead of kinda, you say kinder. I'm like, that's great. It's just you have your own interpretation, and but I actually am always on the lookout for people who can actually jump in as hosts. So I think I sent you the last guy, the Last of Us podcast, where I have
Mhm.
found folks for that, and the reason why I felt it was important for Fumito Ueda to have his own podcast is you know this is okay. This is another thing is even Vati Video would tell you is like and Zeltic and Zelda like do you like Zelda like yep
Yes, of course.
yeah and
It
I have
was
a
I think it was an inspiration for Miyazaki as well, if I'm
yeah
not sure.
well Zelda inspired Ueda
Yeah, I
yeah
could see that because, well, there's a hero and a horse and
yeah
a person to save. It kind of makes sense.
that's right oh such a okay so I know you've got your own projects and everything but what I just had an idea one day if you ever wanted to do a storybook. I think because I saw your book there and that's just the pictures of the Colossus but I just had a like a Gen design by like and then collaboration Gen design with Gen design and you have a like a children's storybook of Wanda you know trying to rescue Mono.
Yeah,
Like
oh, it will be really nice.
I think that would be
I
really
like the idea.
yeah. Okay. Well, we'll talk about it. But so, what do you have going on? What are you working on at the moment that you're in the middle of with art? Is it something Miyazaki or
Well,
Ueda or?
usually, I was trying to make a book of the dragons from Dark Souls because I think they play a really good part in the games, and
Hmm,
I was trying to get all the dragons together in a book like the Shadow of Colossus one,
that would be great.
but I
I'll
kind
instantly buy that. I would totally buy
of,
that.
but I got distracted by so many other projects. That's the problem of being an artist. You get distracted by a lot of things, and you want to do a lot of things at the same time,
Yeah.
and in the end, you don't do anything. But I am trying to organize something
Jen,
in the
have you seen?
Trello.
Yeah, have you seen? If you go to Albert Kessa on Instagram, if you scroll, that's all of the podcasts. And the thing is, Jen, I'm so, and just like you seem very eclectic. And I'm interested in so many things. So I like to have all different kinds of conversations. And that's what I decided is that I will just release it as an episode for the dedicated podcast, and then I'll just release it on mine. But I really relate to that, and so I'm gonna guess. So, are you a bigger fan of Miyazaki than Ueda? And it's okay. It's okay.
Yes, I think
I
I
knew it.
am. It's
Yeah.
because Bloodborne is probably one of my favorite games
Oh,
ever. Most favorite
Bloodborne.
games. I really like that. I really connect to that.
I think
It's
I have
really
something to show
nice.
you. I'll bring something back. 1 second.
Okay.
Yeah. Check this out.
Oh.
And then right behind here, I've got all these.
Oh my God. I still didn't get the chance to get those,
Well,
but I have the art book and I really love it.
that's right. And I got the soundtrack as well.
Oh
You
my
know?
God, I have the soundtrack of Shadow of Colossus and
Oh
Last
my gosh, yeah, me
Guardian.
too. It's so good. And
I
then,
love it.
okay, so if you go, and that's the Bloodborne books as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
amazing.
Okay, we're in danger of we might start recording another right now, like an episode for the Miyazaki, because Jen, I absolutely adore Bloodborne, and I also, do you want to get my symbolism? Only if because I know I've been talking. Is that okay? I'll tell you.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, please.
So my symbolism with Bloodborne is when Miyazaki was a kid, he didn't understand English very well, and he read Dracula and he read H.P. Lovecraft, and he said that he enjoyed reading books that he didn't understand because he didn't know how to read completely because of very high level of English, because he liked to imagine the rest. So I
Yeah,
always
yes.
That's right. So I always saw Bloodborne as him combining those two and then imagining the rest essentially. And I find honestly, it's so like even Gurman, I find I have a lot of problems with Gurman, but even him when he's like sleeping and he wants to wake up from the nightmare, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
my this is why I always come back down to Bloodborne. I'll tell you, I got the Nightmare edition with the little
Oh, that's really cute.
and the little Bloodborne vial there.
Oh, I just have the, how do you call that? The Zero Hunter from
Yes,
PlayStation.
that's right. And I used to have the bell as well. Oh, there it is.
What's your favorite character from Bloodborne? Oh, that's amazing.
My favorite character from Bloodborne. Ah,
It's hard. It's
it's
hard. I
very,
know.
very hard. Dark Beast Parl is
Oh,
what happened to that guy? Very fascinating. And okay, but again, because this is Fumito Ueda, I have to be disciplined. Okay, I will formally invite you. Would you like to come on to the Miyazaki podcast another time? We
oh
can talk about
yes,
it.
of
Great.
course.
All right, fantastic. So you accepted, so we'll organize that after. So I'll say only one more thing. The reason why I actually wrote an article, I wrote like an essay almost, or a thesis, about why we return to Bloodborne. And it's because the nightmare never ends, you know? In the world of
Yes.
Bloodborne, you can't, there's no escape. And the hunt, the hunt must go on, you know? And Miyazaki is really good at developing, reasons for all the video gamey things like respawning and all these things. Usually it's just, oh, you respawn, but you know, like when I first, and I'm gonna ask you, when you first arrived in the Hunter's Dream, what was that like?
Mm.
With like the doll and the music, the violin. What do you think? When you first entered the Hunter's Dream?
Yeah. First I was confused because I died.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
But then I really found it like really calm, a
Mm.
really contrast to the place we are in the city. I think it's confused because that's the nightmare thing, and then
Mm.
there's the dream, and
Yeah.
everything is okay, and the doll is there to help you, German. It was really calming. I really like the sounds and the flowers everywhere. It
Yeah.
was a really nice contrast to the
Yeah.
nightmare. I really
Mm.
like how they did it.
Mm. I like even in Resident Evil, for example, I always appreciate when there's a safe area in a game. Where there's like even with Dark Souls 3, there's the Firelink Shrine where you can just kind of, again, like Fumito, like relax, because Ueda, even with Last Guardian and Ecode, yeah, sure, there's enemies, but the majority of his game is focused on exploration and atmosphere and mood. So yeah. Okay. So what I'm gonna do in editing, I'm gonna edit out the Bloodborne stuff, and I'll put that at the end, maybe.
Okay.
Fantastic. So
Yeah, maybe it should. it should be another time to
Yeah,
talk
for
about
sure.
Bloodborne. I
Yeah.
just get a lot of very excited to talk about it.
Well,
But
yeah. Tell him. Just go. Go. What would you like to talk about with Bloodborne? Go.
I think I really like it at the time because the first part of the game,
Mhm.
it's all kind of like a Dracula with
Yeah.
the werewolves and stuff, and then suddenly you have aliens, it's really crazy. I wasn't expecting that
Mm.
because you could say, oh, it's kind of strange to mix two of this, but they go so well.
So well
Like,
together.
yeah, it doesn't. They feel connected.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really surprised by that because if you talk to someone who didn't play, they would say, that's crazy. I don't think that fits well. But
Mm-hmm.
the way they did it, it was really interesting.
Mm. Okay, I would like to commission you something. No rush, no time
Okay.
frame. You can do it in 2022. I would love nice and take your time. Very big amygdala by you. I think.
Oh, actually, I would love to do that. I was
Yeah, with
thinking
all the
about
different
doing
hands.
Amila,
Mm-hmm.
and I was between Amidala and German again. People asked him again,
Mm.
and the moon presence. I was thinking about doing moon presence next,
I'm gonna
but
send you.
yeah.
You have your phone. I'm gonna send you a picture right now. Now we're
Okay,
going off the
I'm here.
rails. Okay, I have to send this to you because now Miyazaki has taken over.
But okay, we can get back to Fumito Ueda after
Later,
this.
we will. You know what I'll do is I'll take this and I'll put this in the next episode. So I'm gonna send you a picture of the moon presence.
Ah, okay, I can see now. Oh, that's great. Oh, what is in the hand? Is it the
Mm-hmm.
dream? The nightmare?
That's right.
I think it's probably because the nightmare is the creation of moon presence, some say.
Yes, that's right. And he's the one because the great ones. It is said that they are benign in nature, that they're kind-hearted, but there's always the outsider. There's always the one that doesn't do what the others do. And I've always saw the moon presence as being very just uh, an evil god basically, and the idea that he
Yes.
would create all these different dimensions and dreams and nightmares to just sustain this yeah, I think I actually wrote a treatment for a TV series for Bloodborne,
Mm.
and the first season would be entirely dedicated to Bergenworth, entirely dedicated to the.
Oh,
I know it would be almost like a set in Bergenworth College, and it would be about and the end of the first season would end in them discovering the tomb of the gods. So that would be
oh, I
the
like
season
it.
finale. I'll send you that article too. I think we need to talk about it on another show. But anyway,
Yes.
let's wrap things up because what time is it there for you?
It's 9 a.m.
9 a.m. breakfast time.
Yeah.
How do you say breakfast in Portuguese?
Café da manhã.
Café da manhã. You know why I know how to speak it? It's because when I was a kid, I watched Three Caballeros with Joe Carioca, and
Ah,
exactly, that's right.
yes.
And I learned a little bit of Portuguese from that, like Los Quindindi, and then also I do capoeira as well. So, and it's just really, really, I love Brazil. Oh, it's just so beautiful. And I also do the Wizarding World podcast, and the next Fantastic Beasts is going to be set in Brazil, in Rio de
I
Janeiro.
heard about it. Yeah, I heard it. I'm really curious about it because we have a lot of mythology here. So I
Yeah.
wonder how it's going to be treated there because
Mm.
I think I think one case was in Twilight. Do you know Twilight? They
Yeah.
mistaken they made a mistake with one of our legends here.
Oh,
They
goodness.
it was funny.
Yeah,
So
I
I
like
really
your attitude
wonder.
of, yeah, that's a good attitude of yeah, you don't seem like someone who takes things to the point of, having too much of a kind of a I think I really appreciate it. Like, I appreciate your worldview because you don't take a victimizing stance. You always you
No.
seem to want to see the positive, and you seem very understanding. So again, just for that, like, thank you.
Yes.
That's a good way to
I,
be.
I think
Yeah,
I think the internet is already really full of people
negative.
like trying, yes, full of negativity. I always try to see everyone's view before giving my opinion on this topic,
That's great.
because I try to think on the goodness of the people always.
Yeah. All right, listeners, let's just all take a leaf out of Jen's book about how to approach not just COVID, but life in general. It's important to try and strive to see the light and see the positives. And I think that that's something both Miyazaki and Fumito Ueda have in common, is that sense of even though there's darkness, is to aspire for the light, I think. Because I think for both of them, even though Miyazaki has his thing of the fading dark, the fading light, there's a lot of poetry related to that. But like jolly cooperation, like and
Yes.
yeah, and even the palette of Fumito is, even though there's some tragedy and all that. Look at like Last Guardian, how it ends is with the sunrise, and it's just, I
Yeah.
think, yeah, I think that's why, again, it's like, to come full circle, I understand why you connect with these kind of timeless storytellers. I think you have the same spirit as Ueda, and
Oh,
yeah.
I'm honored to know this. I also like the fact that in the games we really don't know what is the dark, the evil being.
Mm,
Like we could think the Colossus were the dark, but they aren't. They aren't
no,
evil. I really like this concept of the evil
evil.
not being the evil. Yes, you don't know for sure until you know.
Yeah, and the dragons, for example, like there was nothing wrong that, and I'm really looking forward to your project about them if you finish that, and
Mhm.
to see the arch dragons, and then to see Midir, I think would be really beautiful in your style, and even
Thank you.
Oceros, the
Yes, oh, that's a sad story he
is
has.
very sad, very sad. So the listeners know where to find you because all of your details are going to be in the description. But do you want to
Mhm.
tell them about anything else, just to kind of give them any other information?
I'm fine. I'm just really happy to be part of this podcast. It's my first ever. I never talked to
Oh,
anyone in podcast.
really? You seem like,
Yes.
because you've got the headphones, I assumed that you had done other podcasts before.
No, that's the headset I use in PSN PlayStation when
Okay.
I'm doing multiplayer Jolly Corporations.
Yes, fantastic. Oh,
So it
amazing.
was a really nice experience. I hope everyone like it. And sorry for my English. Sometimes
No,
I make
take it
some
back.
mistakes, but
Take it back. No, wonderful. Yeah, I had no issues at all, and you're doing really well with it for sure.
Mhm.
Excellent. Even I would say, honestly, like, and I've looked at a lot of art with Ueda, and a lot of art with Miyazaki. There's some really detailed stuff out there, some really intense stuff. But in terms of the art that I keep coming back to, the one that it's like, that's why I bought your book. Yeah, like,
Oh,
which is, it's like, oh, that, and that's why we come back to their games as well, is it gives a sort of atmosphere, and I think there's a lot behind what you do. You can see there's someone really
oh, thank
enjoying the
you.
process, and I always think that whenever we make art, we actually put the state that we're in, the emotional state goes into the art. And so when you say that you make your art to chill out, then the chill out energy is in the art, and so then I go to your art to chill out, so,
That's
and I think,
amazing.
yeah, so please keep up the amazing work, and yeah, like, have a lovely rest of the week, and a lovely rest of, hopefully this year goes by a bit faster.
Oh, please, please,
Exactly.
I really need it. I can't
Okay.
wait to
Get out of
this
the
situation
house.
to get better. Yes, that's true.
Okay, awesome. Well, we can wave to the listeners now. Well, take it easy, everyone. See you next time.
Goodbye.
Awesome, and now we are in the post-show. So the show's over. What did you think? Did you have fun?
Yes, it was. I was nervous. I was really
No.
nervous because I don't usually talk in English much. I just write and
That's
read stuff.
amazing. I want to say, and
But
I'm not smoke blowing you or saying words for no reason. Like
Mhm.
you're really, really good. So
Oh,
well
thank
done.
you.
Yeah, yeah.
I asked my friend to practice with me a bit before because I really needed to talk to someone before
Okay.
to see how it go.
Well, how do
But
I say? And you can. How do you say? I had a good time in Portuguese.
um, foi bacana, foi legal.
Foi bacana, foi
There are
legal.
so
That's
many
okay.
ways to say it.
Oh, wait, I'll try it. Wait a second. I'll because I do this because my just like you with English, I'm trying to get back because I'm bilingual Italiano, pero I don't speak with it. I don't speak it very very often. So I'll just do a little translation. Okay, 1 second. Have you been using apps and stuff to like when you're like traveling? Do you use like and when you went to Japan, did you use an app or anything?
I tried to talk in English. The app I used was Google Maps to find places because I went there with my boyfriend and we got really lost.
Oh, that's
But
crazy. I
yeah,
want to ask. Yeah, you go ahead.
because we didn't know anything at all, so I tried to search beforehand, going there, the maps and stuff, before we get to the hotel. But the Japanese are so kind; they
Oh
help
yeah,
you. They help,
yeah.
and even if they don't know English, they try to help you. I was really happy to know them, and
That's cool.
I really want to go there again
You
because
have to.
I only stayed there for a week, and I think it wasn't enough. It
I
wasn't
also
enough.
stayed for a week recently in May last year. It was a wedding that I went to a friend's wedding. It's too long, too short. You have to stay. You and your boyfriend have to go there.
Yes.
Does your boyfriend like Fumito Ueda as well?
I tried to show him, but he's not a PlayStation player,
He's an
so
Xbox guy.
no, he's a Nintendo
Nintendo. Well,
person.
then you and him
Yeah,
need to come on the Zelda show. He can come on the Zelda show if you like.
yeah.
Please, please.
He's a Zelda fanatic. He really likes Zelda.
Well, then he has to.
Yeah.
I tell him that I invite him to come.
I will tell him.
Okay,
Yeah, I think
fantastic.
he will really love it. But
Cool.
recently I got him addicted in Dark Souls and he's really, really enjoying it. I can't
Excellent.
wait for him to play Bloodborne and other games, but
You guys are so well. Obviously, I don't want to assume, but if you guys get married, you have to have a Bloodborne themed wedding. Okay?
yes, yes, I would
you
love
need to
to.
be you need to be dressed as Queen Yharnam. I'm kidding.
Yes. Oh, actually, I would love to.
Really? Or maybe the Castle Canehurst. Anyway, okay. So you have to be on Miyazaki, and he has to be on the Zelda podcast. Okay, I'll send you details.
Yes.
Muito obrigado. Estou ansioso para falar con você novamente.
Oh, it's perfect.
Okay.
Thank
No
you.
worries.
Muito obrigado.
Fantastic. Well, have a lovely week. Say hi to your boyfriend. Have a lovely rest of the month, and I'll be in touch about Miyazaki and Zelda.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
Have a good one.
Goodbye.
Bye. Bye.